Turning failure into triumph. How I resolved a crisis of confidence. It's been a while since my last video because I started to wonder if I really could still run like I used to, which I'll have to if I want a chance of a top 10 at UTMB. So this video is a little bit about that, but mostly about how I turned it around and proved to myself I can still run hard at the sharp end of a mountain race. You need about 12 weeks of largely uninterrupted training to perform at your best. Then you need a dash of luck to be in a position to fully express your fitness on race day. This year I've had a couple of setbacks. I caught a nasty flu-like illness at Ultra-Mediterranea that set back training. Then all the coughing and violent sneezing from that led to an injury to the ribs under my shoulder blade in my back. Deep breaths were excruciating. This meant I couldn't train with poles, couldn't do strength training, couldn't row or run hard, and it affected my sleep for around 6 weeks. In the midst of this, I tried to race a 24-hour road race, but had to pull up around 80 kilometres. My opening race of the year had been great. I ran a controlled race to win Almeida Trail, but then there was Ultra-Mediterranea, which I finished, and the 24-hour, which I didn't. Ultra-Mediterranea was really disappointing and made me wonder if I was simply getting too old and had passed my peak. Because we know how much the little things add up, it's easy to allow small things going wrong to stress you out disproportionately. At Ultra-Mediterranea, the hotel room was really noisy and I got no sleep. Race morning started really cold and I couldn't properly warm up. I got stuck in heavy race traffic over the first flatter kilometres when normally I'm strong, so it was doubly frustrating. Then my breathing felt off, my legs felt heavy, I misjudged the time between 2 aid stations and got dehydrated, etc, etc. We've all been there. The real problem I had was that I let these things affect me. Mental state matters. These races leave us plenty of time to think and brood, and mental state definitely affects physical performance. I was determined to have a different experience at Ultra Hiatus. We arrived 2 nights before. The hotel was still noisy, since noise is to Spaniards what tea is to Brits, habitual and comforting. But I didn't allow it to distress me. I was woken by people coming back from dinner between 10 and 11:30, at midnight by someone rearranging furniture in the room above, and then I lay awake from 2:30 to 3:20 a.m, listening to the guys chatting next door. 6:30 a.m, everyone was up and banging doors again. The difference was I expected it, and just rested while I couldn't sleep. The night before the race was a little better, although my neighbours got up at 5:30 a.m, robbing me of the last 30 minutes of sleep. After Ultra-Mediterranea, I put a lot of thought into what needed to change. My long-time morning routine of porridge was swapped for Cocoa Pops. Easy and quicker to prepare in a hotel room, and quicker to digest with less fibre. They're also more appealing if nerves steal your appetite. I had 2/3 of a precision hydration caffeine gel 1 hour before the race and drank 500 ml of water with a precision electrolyte tab in it. Having electrolytes in your pre-race drink can help you retain that water and not need to pee at the start line, or in the first 30 minutes of the race. At Ultra-Mediterranea, I had relied on race footage to virtually recce the first kilometres, and then discovered during the race that the heavy rains had damaged the trail, so it was single track, and I got stuck in slow-moving traffic. This time, just like Ultra-Mediterranea, I discovered the rains had changed the terrain from what I'd seen in race videos. It was very overgrown, meaning it was 200 metres from the start to more or less single track. Passing would be possible, but with tussocks and rocks hidden under the grass, I wouldn't want to. I practiced the first 2 corners 4 times. Another thing I changed in the lead-up was having no rest days in race week, and making the 2 preceding days short with a little bit of spice in the form of strides, drills and hops. This meant my legs felt much more responsive on race morning. Getting the right level of muscle tension is probably quite personal. The amount we want depends on the race. 800-metre runners want more than marathoners, for instance. And how we get it just right can depend on training in the build-up and recovery through race week. This, combined with just enough caffeine, 1.2 milligrams per kilogram, a good warm-up and positive mindset meant I felt great from the first step. I was really surprised to lead out the entire race, but it meant that I had the rare treat of being able to see where I was going. I checked in with the guy behind me several times to see if he wanted to pass, but he was happy following at that point. The first climb was a bit slippery, but I had my poles, which I didn't at Ultra-Mediterranea. The lead of the women's race passed back and forth between me, Yang Wu, the Ultra-China athlete, 4th at Val d'Aran, and a local Spaniard, Thais. Again, my better mindset meant I was absolutely fine with this. We can prepare mentally for the ups and downs of a race by expecting them, anticipating them, and acknowledging them when they arrive. I went into the race prepared to work hard, knowing at times I would be suffering. As the race climbed, I began to feel the effects of the higher altitude. I said to myself, this is okay, it's normal, keep working. When my arms started to ache from poling, I acknowledged it and reminded myself it was fine. Most of their job was done. It was expected since I'd lost upper body condition with my rib back injury. After my experience with dehydration at Ultra-Mediterranea, I was more prepared and had precision electrolyte tabs easily accessible. So as the temperature started to climb and I ran out of water before the second aid station, I knew I could rectify it. At the aid station, I put a tab in my bottle and was able to drink it fast, knowing the salts would help absorption and prevent sloshing. I repeated this at the next aid station, one I planned to skip, and my hydration was back under control. The section of the course down to Talan was much more challenging than it looked on the map. It was a mountain biker's dream through a dusty quarry with some dizzyingly steep slides and lots of punchy short up hills. The temperature in the barranca was around 28 degrees. As I'd been heat training, this was uncomfortable, but not race-ending. Finally, we climbed up to Talan and I brought my temperature down with a dip in the trough. But it quickly rose again and my heart rate from there to the finish line was around 95% of my max, assuming my max is correct, as I had a polar heart rate monitor on, which is acknowledged to be one of the most accurate. I crossed the line in first place, equal 7th overall, and with a 20-minute lead. I don't think I've ever gone to the well so early in a race and stayed there. It was hard, but it showed me my dream of top 10 at UTMB isn't crazy, at least not entirely. There are a few things to improve. I needed more steep downhills in my legs. No amount of going up and down my local hill could prepare my legs for a continuous long downhill with steep sections, and I needed more strength training. I knew that, but the rib injury had got in the way. But otherwise, the changes I had made were all positive. I'm happy that things are back on track and confident that a good run is possible at Val d'Aran in a few weeks.